We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're a little light around the table this evening. Director Coughlin and I have her proxy. Director Brandenburg, I have his proxy, so I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we'll figure it out. And Director, I can do my leg. And Director Fosdick and Director Gaines has her proxy. All right, on to the approval of the minutes. We need a motion for the February 26th regular meeting minutes.
A motion for the minutes.
Thank you, JB. Bob? Any questions, comments, concerns, changes? Nope. Okay, all in favor? 1, 2, and 3? All right, so the work session, we didn't have one. So we don't have to do that one, right? Joint Advisory Committee reports. Tom, you got rec and late?
Yeah, we didn't have minutes for the work session because we didn't have a meeting because of lack of
agenda items. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
So for the joint advisory committees for rec, the committee approved the February meeting minutes and unanimously approved a slate of non-member events for Birksdale South, including races, community events, and seasonal activities. Overall, recreational facilities are in good to excellent condition with strong community usage, especially at pickleball courts, trails, and parks. There are a couple items that they address that are covered in the minutes that need attention. Community feedback remains highly positive, with members expressing appreciation for amenities and staff efforts. Though some requests were noted, dog park improvements, water service restoration. Staff reports included usage trends, ongoing infrastructure improvements, and upcoming seasonal preparations such as marina opening, fish stocking, and spring events. The meeting emphasized continued growth in recreational demand, the importance of ongoing maintenance investments, and strong community engagement. For the Lakes Committee, Loch Lomond starts refilling on March 2nd and was approximately half full on March 11th. Refilling is dependent upon local rainfall. A grass carp funnel trap has been installed in a secondary cove near Tyree Boat Launch. Once the lake is full, we are hoping to catch a significant number of grass carp as part of our ongoing removal process. Our final trout stocking took place in early March on Lake Brittany. The recently remodeled electro fishing boat is now in service, and additional kayak wrecks are going to be installed on Lake Avalon and Norwood and Loch Lomond at the Tyree launch area. And that is the recaps of those two committees.
Okay, the golf committee met on March 11th, and we had quite a bit of activity on the maintenance side. Graham Cornmeyer reported the Bermuda grass greens on Scottsdale and Brittany are in strong condition following the winter. Zoy's at Highlands is showing strong early green up approximately 2 weeks ahead of the Bermuda. Staff cautions the late seed cold remains possible, and a full assessment of winter impact will be available in late April in case we have some nasty weather. Fertilization scheduled for late March to early April. Spring pre-emergent weed applications are nearly complete. Recent rainfall, 6 inches, caused some minor flooding at Kingswood, Birksdale, and Country Club. Spring aerification is underway across the grass courses and more aggressive treatment at Kingswood. Capital projects, there are several of them. Ryegrass removed and reseeding at the Country Club number 13T, planned for April. Drainage culvert replacements completed on holes 8 through 11. Van installation on Kingswood expected to conclude at the end of April. Nursery greens and highlights has been seeded. At Scottsdale driving range, tee reconstruction completed, and sod installation is expected soon. Damage irrigation controller at the Highlands number 8 will be repaired and protected with some boulders. Obviously there's a problem there. Kingswood number 6 pond project has been closed and the pond is holding water. Flood study indicates the dam removal will not affect golf course flooding. Darrell Muldoon and golf operations, February produced 10,256 rounds, an increase of 4,700 over the prior year. Membership rounds are up 3,463. Year-to-date total is 15,822, up from 7,717. Driving range buckets seats sales increased significantly due to the reopening of Tanyard Creek. This is according to the simulator at Tanyard Creek. A revised no-show policy allowed walk-ins to use the unclaimed simulator time at a reduced cost. No-shows are monitored daily, and repeated offenders receive warnings and penalties. Staff recognition. Nate from the golf operation was commended for completing full summer scheduling early and improving coordination of group play. We have 130 plus groups that play in the summer. They all want the same time and they all want the same course. So Nate's doing a good job. Tournament and player development. Shot in the dark tournament filled up within 4 hours. Upcoming events include the Dogwood a Dogwood 3-person scramble in May 2nd and Folds of Honor May 16th. From the audience. Yes, it was. Public concerns. Concerns were raised regarding erosion of several holes. Maintenance confirmed repairs are planned. Leadership addressed the rumors regarding the closure of Kingswood and Burksdale, stating it was nothing but a pure rumor. It does not exist. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Ruth.
Hey, Ruth, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
At Tanyard, the simulator, when you reserve it, do you pay in advance?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
Beth, financials.
Hello, I'm here to present the financials for February, and we really have set ourselves up in February for a really good position to swing into spring with a good drive. I worked really hard on that. I really worked hard on that. Looking at the month of February on a consolidated basis, a quick snapshot, EBITDA for the month was $501,000, which was $436,000 better than budget and $348,000 better than the prior year. The primary driver, that was strong golf fees and strong water revenue. Plus, we're having some favorable expense timing benefits as well that we do expect to reverse later in the year. But the revenue was $314,000 better than budget and consolidated $473,000 better than prior year. Year to date, we're $264,000 better than budget and $673 better than prior year on revenue. Our key strengths for February was those exceptional golf volumes and strong water sales, along with the water connection related revenue. We also had labor savings and good expense management while we're watching those expenses. Our key watch items going forward are those reversals of the expense timings, which includes the water distribution equipment timing and other deferred costs. Also, the RV park revenue has been softer year to date than we've budgeted and expected, as well as transfer fees have been as well. Looking at year to date on consolidated, the total income year to date is $6.5 million, which is better than budget in prior year. Expenses, $5.9, which is better than budget and a little more than prior year. And EBITDA coming in year to date, $524,000, better than budget and prior year. Looking at POA only for the month, the POA's EBITDA reached $66,000 in February. That was better than budget by $310,000 and prior year by $175,000. Again, due to strong revenue and controlled expenses. Speaking of revenue, that totaled $2.2 million, finishing 172,000 better than budget and 272,000 better than prior year, driven by golf fees and food and beverage. Operating expenses were 167,000 better than budget, but 74,000 worse than prior year. That variance to budget reflected labor savings as well as deferred costs and timing variances. So drilling farther into the POA, into the golf operations, the February EBITDA for golf was better than budget by 155,000 due to those increased rounds and fee revenue, and monthly revenue was 453,000, 154,000 better than budget. So you'll see that EBITDA was better, 155,000. Revenue was better, 154,000. So that revenue went straight down to the bottom line. Those revenue drivers, golf's key revenue sources include green fees, cart rentals, pro shop sales, and all those were outperforming budget expectations. The cost of goods sold rose due mainly to volume, but also to markdowns. But operating expenses were 7,000 better than budget, primarily from labor savings. Looking at all the locations for golf, their EBITDA variance to budget, you'll see that Highlands had the best variance to budget by 24,000. Country Club, Kingsdale, Tanyard Creek were all at 19,000 better than budget. Metfield 15,000 better, and Scottsdale 11,000. And then diving into food and beverage, they beat EBITDA budget by 53,000 in February due to higher revenue and controlled costs, and that was 74,000 better than prior year. Their revenue was 46,000 better than budget. Their strongest sales were in a la carte food and beer. Though their cost of goods sold were 21,000 worse than budget, that was primarily due to increased volume. Gross margin still beat budget by 25,000. COGS were 40% of total F&B income. Operating expenses were 28,000 better than budget and 24,000 better than prior year due to savings in labor and some deferred supply purchases. All the locations for F&B outperformed EBITDA budget in February, except for the Little Sugar Bistro, which was 10,000 worse than budget for the month. Other highlights for the POA, boat registrations were 7,000 better than budget due to membership resources, increasing their contacts for renewals. The new recreation amenity fee that contributes to capital projects beat budget by 12,000 for the month, which nearly reversed the softness we had in that fee in January. Some misses in revenue in February was the full-service RV park revenue was 24,000 worse than budget. Also, membership transfer fees were 23,000 worse than budget. We expect that just to be timing and those to improve later in the year. And again, the expense timing benefits specifically in equipment and tools, maintenance and repairs, and professional services. Really helped with the EBITDA bottom line, but they are also expected to reverse later in the year. Looking at water only, the EBITDA for February was 435,000, outperforming budget by 127,000 and prior year by 173,000. The revenue exceeded budget by 142,000 in February, which recovered some of the January softness that water had in water sales, capital fees, and new connections. And the operating expenses were slightly worse than budget by 14,000, with timing impacts on water distribution equipment and engineering fees. And diving into water a little bit more, those water sales of 779,000 were 59,000 better than budget for February and 48,000 better year to date. Capital buy-in fees of 155,000 in February was 20,000 better than budget, still 6,000 worse year to date. New service connections were 17,000 better than budget, still 5,000 worse year to date. And the water distribution equipment costs were $38,000, worse than budget for the month, but only $1,000 worse year to date. So that was a reversal of the January timing there. Engineering fees of $18,000 were budgeted for February, but are temporarily deferred. Looking at cash, the POA holds $1.3 million in operating funds and $871,000 in reserves as of February 28th. The water utility has $3.4 million in operating funds and $3.6 million in reserves. The debt the POA has to the water utility remains unchanged at $3.1 million, and the POA has outstanding bank loans totaling $5.7 million. And finally, the one-pager. On the left is the by department EBITDA variances to budget year to date. You'll see that golf operations is $205,000 better than budget on their EBITDA year to date. Food and beverage is $69,000 better. Golf maintenance, $65,000 better. Lakes and parks, $63,000. Going down to the bottom, worse than budget. General income and expense, $47,000 worse than budget, and that's primarily all due to the timing of those transfer fees. Everything else on the right side we've already discussed. As always, there's more detailed information that will be available on the website. Do you have any questions?
You have a second career in creativity.
I have a creative team as well.
Bob?
Yeah, the only question I had is repaying the water department. You said we didn't make any payments back to them this last month.
Correct.
When was the last time we made a payment back to the water department for that outstanding loan?
It would have been in 2024. We did not make any in 2025 due to our cash position.
Okay.
Hoping that we can again soon. Things are looking better in the cash. Just not wanting to rush that. That's me speaking out of turn, probably without talking to Tom.
It's true.
Just
Yeah,
a comment.
yeah, go ahead, Jackie.
I need to be warned to eat my supper before I come here. When
I know
they show
that lobster,
and
look,
steak.
I was about to turn to Jeff and say, ooh, I'm hungry now. Anything else for Beth?
Nope.
Thank you, Beth. All right, we have one, well, we don't have anybody here and no emails, right? All right, so no full open forum or responses. So the last item on the agenda is Cooper Elementary Bike Event. Tom?
So we received a request from Grindstone Coffee is putting together a event for the students at Cooper Elementary where they would ride their bikes from Metfield Park down to the school. And this would be the week of April 27th through May 1st to encourage kids to ride their bikes to school. The path is open to the public, so it's questionable whether a vote needs to be taken in the first place. But just in the interest of being fully transparent with our membership, we're recommending that a vote be taken to approve, endorse this event. And there you go.
Need a motion? Yep.
I move to approve the use of Metfield Park and the trail leading to Cooper Elementary School for the week of April 27th to May 1st, with the goal of encouraging students to ride their bikes to school. It is possible that some of the participants during this event may not be members or dependent members of the POA, although it is anticipated that most will be.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
Second.
Thank you, JB. Any conversation? Yes, Bob?
Just from a liability standpoint, I know we have coverage, that sort of thing, but in the interest of protecting children, am I to understand that the Trailblazers kind of monitor the condition of trails and then make requests of money to fix them? And if that's so, is there any way we can make sure that they review that path sometime the week before to make sure there aren't any challenges for those kids?
So, most of that path, so the path is half of the path is maintained by the city, and then the other half of the path is maintained by the POA. So we can definitely I can have Trey go out and just go the entire length of it. They are gonna have volunteers at, there are a couple areas where they cross roads, and the volunteers are gonna be there, but I'll have Trey go and just take a look at it, just to make sure it's in good shape.
Good call out, man. Deborah?
This isn't just a Cooper thing, isn't this Arkansas Moves, and it's the majority of the schools in Northwest Arkansas?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
You know what, that was referenced in the memo, and I honestly didn't know what, I
I
didn't.
think you're right. Yes.
Cooper just affects us. Right, yeah. Anything else? All in favor of approving this event?
Where's your third hand? Okay.
All right, approved. Ride your bikes, guys. Is there anything else that anybody wants to discuss before we go into the announcements, Bob?
I probably should, but in caddying the other day, I noticed there was a blue flag person, and they were, I took pictures, and they were right, they were right next to the green. There's the green. They were within 3 steps. And not only am I a little concerned about them being close, but on some of the hills, on some of our golf courses, some of the people that drive blue flag carts don't want to upset anybody, don't have the best driving balance. So it could become a real challenge for them. And I think this leads me back to when Director Brandenburg, during the budget time, talked about geofencing. And I really think we need to start taking a look at that. There's a lot of positives to it, and I think they far outweigh the negatives. And I think it's a subject worth broaching again, if our board feels that way.
So actually, Jeff and I had a conversation about this just a little bit ago, and I've asked Daryl to, at the end of this, towards the end of this year, our fleet comes due. I assume you're talking about like GPS units on the system. So he's going to do a cost-benefit analysis at that time, and we'll report to the board, and we'll see what you guys have to say.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bob, amongst other things besides just blue flags. Anything else? All right, we'll go into announcements. The next Lakes JAC meeting is Wednesday, April 8th at 2 p.m. Everything will be in the boardroom and live stream unless otherwise noted. Golf JAC meeting follows that on the 8th at 4 p.m. Our next Board of Directors GM meeting, which is a closed meeting, is April 9th at 2:30 here in the boardroom. Recreation JAC meeting is Monday, April 13th at 4 p.m. The board candidate election begins Monday, April 13th. Ballots and proxies will be sent out via email and mailed to members in good standing. Strategic planning number 3 is a closed meeting for the board, and that is Wednesday, April 15th at 3. The next Board of Directors work session is April 16th, and the next regular session is April 23rd at 6 p.m. Anything else? Last call.
Just a reminder to our membership regarding the board candidate elections. You should have received an email asking you if you would like to opt out of a paper ballot and opt in for email only as an expense savings. I would encourage anyone comfortable with it to please opt in for the email.
You beat me
Thank
to
you.
it. Good call. Yep, absolutely. I did. I opted in.
We've had 3,200 opt-in so far.
Fabulous.
That's good.
That's better than the 14 you had before. 1,400 or something that was small.
Yeah. I think we send out one more notice tomorrow because we do the cut as on the 31st, and so once the cut occurs, meaning voters in good standing. So we're going to put one last push. We're trying to get to 4,000. which would be great.
Yeah.
Remember to vote, A, and B, all of the information on all 4 candidates is on the POA website. So, all right, with that, we're adjourned.